Travis Wayne Goodsell. I was expecting that this would be the case after I got placed in an apartment. That all of a sudden, they're now going to actually act on getting the homeless out of homelessness. Now that I'm out, they can actually go forth and get others out. Because Travis got out. He's free, so now we can get others into a place to live. Yeah. There's some disturbing numbers. They're saying that there's 3,500 homeless in Utah. That's a massive increase from the last I heard about it. That's horrifying. They are clearly not doing anything to help the homeless as it's increasing. It's like the church. When they claim they're giving charity, it always makes the problem worse. And so, yeah, the church did give to the shelters, and it made it worse. And I noticed Gail Miller is still on the payroll of the church for the homeless council committee co-chair or whatever. And so, yeah, they just removed her from the shelter. If you remember me covering those news reportings after I exposed that the church was doing a human trafficking with profiting off of the homeless because of the Mormons who are giving tithing back to the church. Money laundering. So yeah, they just kept it a sacred secret, continued as it is. Exactly like the other news story that I saw where, because back in the 2000s, there was a big old scandal. One of the legislators, the Utah legislators, was also on the board of directors for a nuclear waste company. And he was wanting to pass legislation to increase the business of his nuclear waste company. And they even bought out the Jazz Stadium, and it was called after their name. I think Nuclear Solutions or whatever, Clean Energy, whatever crap they named it. But he got exposed, and they had to dismiss the bill so that he couldn't bring in foreign waste at a higher grade into Utah for waste disposal. They didn't want to turn Utah into a nuclear dump. And they shouldn't. That's why nuclear energy is awful. It is not clean. It is not safe because there's waste that's involved. Solar is the best. We're not going to lose our sun anytime soon. And so it's just a matter of getting the right battery. But, and making the right wattage of solar panels. The shelter had 300 solar panels, and they were bragging about it. We got 300 solar panels, and they didn't even hook it up to the main system. They were such low wattage that when there was a power failure, the backup generator, which was hooked up to the solar panels, only allowed for minimal lighting. That's why you need a high voltage solar panel. Whoever donated those solar panels screwed them over. It was a waste of money if somebody actually bought them for the shelter, because you're supposed to use solar panels as your main source of energy. And so yes, we don't need the electric companies, because if everybody had solar power, no need for them. Not even as a backup, because you can have a backup battery. And it's awesome. My parents had it back when we were living in Placentia. And that was back in the 70s. In the 70s into the 80s. My dad had to sacrifice it with the house. Couldn't bring it with the new apartment, or the new housing in Corona. But they got money back from the electric company because they were hooked up to the electric grid, but because of the solar power panels generating so much electricity for the house that it gave back to the electric company, and they had to pay my parents for the energy they gave the electric company. And now we have so much other stuff that requires electricity that you need some high wattage panels. But yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, and so we all thought that this was a dead deal. He wasn't going to try this. Well, as it turns out, the news says that there's been trafficking of nuclear waste from Europe. And Fox 13 News Utah is investigating. Just go back into your archives, you'll find it. Yeah, this guy had then secretly brought it in. Well, if the government's not going to allow me to do it legally, I'll do it in secret. And here we are. Finally got caught. So yeah, they've been turning Utah into a nuclear waste dump. Hilarious. But yeah, they don't care about the homeless. Now that I'm gone, they're now starting to do something. But yeah, it's atrocious, the numbers. Dear God. Like I said, they were rounding us up. And they still had the bill that's for increasing the number of homeless in the shelters. That's for an extermination. They're saying they want to help people get homes, but they're not implementing how to get them into homes. They're only talking about building homes for the mentally ill. Oh, right. Those with drug problems and behavioral problems, like Travis has a behavioral problem. He's mentally ill. He needs a psychologist. Bleep you. If you just saw the video on the church proven by a BYU study to ruin romantic relationships, you'll see exactly the cause of all the problems in Utah and in the nation by psychologists. And with the homeless, this is just another example of how psychologists are destroying our nation, destroying our communities. Keep them away from your kids. Get them out of the schools. Protect your kids from psychologists.